You know how many times my bed has been unmade in videos? Usually because Achilles is... Oh, wait. I think actually he's in there. He's in the window. Good. What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel. Time for another episode of Min-Maxing for Fun and Profit, where we do the thing. At last, we build a character, build a marshal with the intention of destroying the world. This also is the channel's first major dip because we've got not one, but two 3.5 prestige classes and mythic to make this bad boy go off. Let's just say we needed some Herculean plus strength to be able to do the thing, but it's super dope and it's probably really fun in the game even when you're not yeeting things at planets. Anyway, if you're liking what you're seeing, like, subscribe, ding the bell. In any case, today, this week's video is brought to you in part by Razor. Thanks for your help, my friend. Now, here we go. Okay, so for today's build, like I said, there's not a lot of theory, there's not a lot of, how does this work? We're basically just shouting big strength score at the top of our lungs. Because when I'm thinking of non-magical ways, or magically aided ways, shall we say, to destroy a planet, the first thing that comes to my mind is the Incredible Hulk, doing something along the lines of throwing an asteroid into the planet. Something along the lines of what killed the dinosaurs. And it's a little less about the actual strength score, so much so as of all the things in the world we're optimizing, carrying capacity. The ability to pick up a thing, move a thing, and then set a thing down. And if it just so happens that there's something down there that might resent having a meteor dropped on it, well, so much the better. Anyway, today's race will be an orc. And we're choosing an orc for the +4 to their strength score. Dreamscarred Press's half giant also looked tempting for me, but powerful build unfortunately does not increase your size category when determining carrying capacity. You thought it would, but not so much. Anyway, short of playing like an ogre or a centaur or some kind of abstractly high RP race, because I want to see this get played and not just outright get banned, the orc seems to be the best choice. We will, however, of all the things in the world, be adopted by gnomes, and we're doing this partially because it's hilarious, and partially because we want to pick up the efficient packer trait, which allows us to treat our strength score as 2 points higher when calculating our carrying capacity, which again is just so huge for us. Our total build today will be 1 level of Barbarian, 6 levels of the Pack Mule Fighter, all 10 levels of the War Hulk Prestige class from 3.5, and all 3 levels of the Hulking Hurler Prestige class. The 1 level dip of Barbarian is really just for rage and getting 4 more onto our strength score. Pack Mule adds a bonus equal to half their fighter level on sleight of hand checks to conceal things, blah, and to their strength score for the purposes of determining carrying capacity. The War Hulk from the Miniatures Handbook gets a flat +2 to their strength every level of this 10 level prestige class. Literally not even a base attack bonus increase on this thing, just get real strong, throw all the things at the low cost of having 0 ranks in all intelligence, wisdom, and charisma based skills, whether or not you had ranks in them previously. We can't take this prestige class until we get a BAB of 5, the cleave feat, and we must be large or larger. So at some point, someone's gonna have to give us the permanent enlarged person, but easy enough. The piece de resistance of this word that this character probably can't pronounce comes from the Hulking Hurler. At 2nd and 3rd level, it gets a pair of 2-handed hurl tricks. We will be choosing Overburdened Heave. The Hulking Hurler can throw a weapon up to 2 sizes larger than his size category, okay, sure, or an item that weighs as much as his medium load. We do this with the class ability, Really Throw Anything. I love that. Once we have point blank shot and weapon focus, any thrown weapon, as well as power attack, we just focus on getting our strength and carrying capacity as high as possible and then picking up the environment and throwing the environment at the opponents or at the environment for value. Honestly, I really like this character. Kinda reminds me of a build we did a long time ago, optimizing around the most corner of all feats. Follow this card right up here to hail Rovagug with us. But in this case, you're not making a strength check to burst something. No, you're just yanking something out of the ground and then throwing it. On paper, this character may seem very boring. You just have lots of strength, do lots of ouch to things, but consider how much you can mod the environment with this. You're basically playing Red Faction and geo-modding at this point. Is that dungeon nailed to the ground? Pull it out. Dump the bad guys out of the dungeon. Is this a military campaign? Will there be ships? Will there be land ships? Will there be tanks? Castles, moving fortresses, Baba Yaga's dancing hut? Pick up buildings and throw the buildings at them. To say nothing of like a chaotic evil game where you're just the kaiju. But gonna really quickly tag up on all the things we can do to increase our carrying capacity and strength score. Our second trait, Muscle of the Society, gives us a +2 trait bonus on strength checks to break down doors and lift portcullises. Woohoo. And you treat your strength score as 2 higher for determining carrying capacity. You're gonna see a theme here. The same is true of the feat Cut Your Losses. The Burdenless Armor enchantment increases your carrying capacity by 50% across each load. And I think we can all understand how out of hand that could be. And of course, we can't forget our muleback cords for that quick +8 to the strength score for the purpose of carrying capacity. Honestly, I almost forgot to put this in the video. My bad. And on top of that, we'll be adding in some mythic stuff just to really see how dumb high the numbers can get. The mythic power Display of Strength will allow you to treat your carrying capacity as though your strength were 20 points higher for an hour. Oopsie. And if we throw in some sweet Irori flavor, because in fact, the path to perfection lies through sweet gains, bruh, Transcendent Self will eventually get us a +3 sacred bonus to our strength. Last but not least, a little polymorph foo to turn us huge and to turn us into some kind of quadruped. I don't know how. Maybe you cheat on a lot of charisma for a use magic device for a scroll. Maybe the wizard does some wizard shenanigans. I don't know. You do you, boo. Honestly, you might want to have your charisma a little above average. Just throw things at people until they buff your charisma out for you. Somehow you have the ability to cast Form of the Dragon 3 on yourself. Become a huge creature, become a huge quadruped at that, with a +10 size bonus to your strength score. Then, of course, invest everything into your strength from leveling and add +11 from our book and our belt, and we're looking at a grand total of, for the purposes of carrying capacity, 117 strength. That's a lot. That's so much that when I put that into an autofill character sheet to determine the carrying capacity, it doesn't fit in the box. And you know what that means. It's time for me to teach you guys how carrying capacity works. God, this channel has been around a long time. We've officially gone off the deep end. Remember when we were just talking about Vital Strike Barbarians? Yeah, me too. To the corner case rules! Now I suppose in the optimized party, this character is really good for parties that are really weak when the GM is making you track gold weight. I digress. Our strength score is very obviously not on this table. So for strength scores not shown on the table, find the strength score between 20 and 29 that has the same number in the ones digit as the creature's strength score, so 27 for us. Then we multiply the numbers in that row by 4 for every 10 points the creature's strength score is above that row. So we'll need to multiply that by 4 9 times. We'll need to multiply that by 36. That means our medium load tops out before any further magic stuff at 24,948 pounds. Our character is no longer capable of movement when our character is carrying their maximum load of 37,440 pounds. Disgusting. Now we increase both of those numbers times 6. Because we're a huge creature and a quadruped. So just kidding, after a Form of the Dragon, our medium load caps out at 167,688 pounds, with our maximum load 224,640 pounds. I have 0 frame of reference for how heavy any of that stuff is. And quick sidebar, we're not going to do damage math on this one because I can't always guarantee what you're throwing at the bad guys in the dungeons or at the planet you're trying to destroy. I suppose, pro tip, if you can go find a meteor made out of adamantine and chuck it at the ground, it'll ignore the ground's hardness and thus do a lot more damage. But we're not done. It's even scarier. Both those figures are increased by 50% from burdenless armor, and then tripled from a casting of Ant Hall. You knew you'd see it. Which then, assuming I'm doing my math right, means that our medium load will end up at 754,596 pounds, and our character is only encumbered after carrying 1,010,880 pounds. Man, we've been doing a lot of characters from the X-Men and stuff. Maybe this should be a video on how to make Atlas from Greek mythology, because I think that's where we're at. But we aren't done. Let's play with gravity rules. Let's assume that we go to space. Let's assume someone gives us boots of teleport and the ability to breathe in a vacuum, and we go find ourselves a nice rock in an area of no gravity and then find a way to grab it somehow. Of course, in no gravity, everything is completely weightless. So that's math. Again, like I said last week, y'all, I'm not a scientist. All I can do is work with the rules that we've been given, and golly friends, wouldn't you know it, there's a spell for it, Gravity Sphere. Available to Arcanists, Wizards, and Sorcerers as a 5th level spell, and Druids and Hunters as a level 6 spell. This will affect the local gravity field in a 30-foot radius sphere around the spell's designated point of origin. Creatures in that affected area can be weighed down by high gravity, lightened by low gravity, or left to float in the void, depending on the effect you choose for your gravity sphere. Creatures that fall within the area take more damage, on and on and on. Let's be nice here and assume it's a low gravity area. Though I suppose, honestly, a no gravity area means you could, in theory, yeet whatever at wherever. A low gravity area is quantified in Pathfinder as an area with only 1/3 standard gravity, which means a PC can jump 3 times as high and far and lift 3 times as much. Well, that means when our character is in said gravity sphere, holding something partially in the sphere, mostly out of the sphere. I don't really know how the physics work on that one. In the comments below, physics friends, help, YouTuber in danger, help. Looks like we're looking at 2,263,788 pounds worth of really throw anything, or honestly, at this point, really drop anything. 3,032,640 pounds worth of an object crashing into the surface of a planet. Let's go even farther. Let's assume our wizard friends have set up many magic items to cast gravity spheres on the ground to make the area an area of high gravity. Everything then weighs double, which means at the end of the day, when this meteor contacts whatever the hell it's contacting, if it was in our medium load and we're trying to throw this to accurately hit a target, God, if you can fit Brutal Thrower in here and you're doing strength to attack and double strength to damage, probably just a fine pink mist on the other side. 4,527,576 pounds, or dropping from low orbit, 6,065,280 pounds worth of GM. I am tired of your game. GM a new one. Disclaimer, if you try to pull this in your games, I think your GM will probably stick to rules light systems forever. My head hurts just looking at this. Now, unfortunately, I don't think that's enough damage to, by raw, destroy a planet, but with the power of our good wizard friend and a little bit of time and prep, up to and including like a low gravity demiplane with a gate that you're just hucking rocks out of, doing this over and over again will cause massive damage basically anywhere. And again, when we're thinking things like special materials, adamantine, a material that ignores the hardness of a lot of things up to and including the ground, makes this math go from the realm of the math to the realm of really, I can't quite quantify it, but I can say it would make the damage increase exponentially. So this character would destroy the world by getting a bunch of these meteors in space, or again, in a demiplane, possibly by exploring the vast wilderness of space itself to find a bunch of adamantine rocks, a campaign in and of itself. And if you have a crafter friend who can like chisel them to be drill shaped or something so they pierce a little more when they hit the ground, yeah, this is terrifying. And then hucking them at the same spot on the surface of the planet, kick up a dust cloud, block out the sun. Yeah, the wizards could do this a lot better, but from levels 1 to 19, you're still got big con, got big strong, hit all the things, and honestly, it makes for a really creative solution to a lot of puzzles, as well as creative ways to keep your combat interesting. What's the environment we're in again? Cool. I'm hitting people with it, but that's all I'm going to say about this monstrosity. What do y'all think? Could we have got the strength score higher? What exactly happens when this much force hits a planet? How far off was I from recreating, say, the meteor that killed the dinosaurs? Let me know in the comments. TBH, I could use all the help with that one I can get. But next week on Min-Maxing for Fun and Profit, we're building around one of my favorite racial traits to build around. We're going to need some friends for this one. We're going to maybe need leadership for this one. Who knows? It's the swarming trait. Get your Isoki, get your kobolds. We'll see you next week.